You can't hear my mom right now, can you?
We are live. No, I can't hear. We are live. So come on in the room, people. Come on in the room. We are live today.
No, I can't hear. Sorry.
We are live. Come on in the room. Giving people time to come on in. And while I'm trying to find my live link.
On Facebook.
On Facebook. It's not actually popping up the way I want it. There it is. There it is. It's a little delayed. The time is a little delayed. Yeah, we're a few minutes
My
behind.
hands are so dry from all of those, I don't know, those alcohol spray. Yes, I can't get my hands juicy and plumpy enough. They're always looking dry and cracky.
I use this moisturizing body cream by Bath and Body Works. This one is Energy, and then there's another one by Cantu that I use that I really like on my hands, and I use it
Okay.
all the time, because that's how often we're using sanitizer.
Right. I'm like, oh,
With some coconut oil or shea butter or
I
anything.
use coconut oil because I put that in my hair. So I do that first thing in the morning and rub my hands with that, in the morning. But today, this has been really good too. A little advertising. This Gold Bond
Oh,
Healing,
yeah, it is.
but
Yes,
it
it.
doesn't seem to last as long. But it
Oh,
is a little bit more supple. I don't. It doesn't feel alcoholish, like you know.
okay. Mm-hmm. Hey,
But
Jasmine. Jasmine is our first one on. She is such a great supporter. Thank you for chiming in, hopping on. Please like and share. We'll wait and give people time to get on. This is a really, really important topic. So if you know anyone that has children, work with children, please, please, please share this so they can hop on. Please share this link. Put it on your Facebook page, share it on your Instagram if you can, whatever social media platform that you're on, go ahead and share, because this is a really important topic. They're all really important, but today, this one is near and dear. And I think we'll learn something even if we don't think that we fall into this category. I think that we'll still learn some things.
absolutely, yeah, yes. There's a lot to be learned. I mean, I think we take abuse for granted, especially emotional abuse.
Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
So we're gonna give people time to hop in, like, share, and all that great stuff. Were you able to share the live stuff so people can get on?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'll share again. Not only is this a great topic to discuss, I want to hear what people have to say about it.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so I want to hear what people have to say about it. All right. Okay, well, I guess got a few people still hopping in, still hopping in. I send it out again. It's gonna be magnificent. Whoever is watching, we got some information for you guys. Um, so, welcome to Heads Up Mental Clarity. I am Michelle Bird, and this is my good friend Stephanie, and we are going to be talking.
Oh.
Yes, we're going to be talking about child abuse. Love shouldn't hurt.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. I feel like I haven't been here in forever.
I
I know it's
know
only been 2 weeks, but it feels like a long time.
it does. Which reminds me, I was out of town when I did it, and it feels like that was forever. All right, it's time.
Yeah,
Time to
yeah,
go again. Time to go again.
yeah. Yeah, right. Yes. Ready to go.
Yeah. Ready to go again. Yes. Um, yeah, so let's just get started stuff and people can kind of
Mhm.
chime in when they get in. We have a few people on. You guys like, share, invite people to hop on. It's never too late to get this information. And we're talking about child abuse. Love shouldn't hurt. We're going to talk about what that is. We're going to talk about the different categories of it because there's different ways that children are abused. Yeah, so we're going to get right into it. Steph, you want to get us started?
Sure. So what is child abuse?
Mhm.
Child abuse can be, so I'll read some statistics. Every year, more than 3 million reports of child abuse are made in the United States. It
Mhm.
is a terrible epidemic. Um, it's a terrible epidemic. And anyway, I was getting ready to read the rest of the stuff, but that doesn't apply to us. But there's 3 million child abuse cases reported. And so I'll talk to you about what those what is child abuse. Child
Mhm.
abuse is when a parent or caregiver, and it anyway, a parent or let me keep reading. Parent or caregiver, whether through actions or failed actions, causing injury, death, emotional harm, or risk of serious harm to a child. There are many forms of child maltreatment, including neglect, physical
Mhm.
abuse, sexual abuse, exploitation, and emotional abuse.
Mhm.
Um, and
I want
the
to jump
other,
right in, Steph, just for a second with the some statistics to kind of bring it home to people.
mm-hmm,
Every 60 seconds, a child is abused. Every minute of the day, a child is abused. 4 children die every day. 131 die a month. This
mm-hmm.
is according to Mercy Home and a couple of places, resources that I looked up. 70% of the fatalities are under the age of 3.
Just like let that sink in. I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
70% of 3 million.
Yes.
That's a lot.
That is a lot of children. Yes.
That's a lot.
Hmm.
Wow, that's like so not okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Um, So, the physical abuse of a child is when a parent or caregiver causes any non-accidental physical injury to a child.
So let's
There,
clarify that. I need us to understand that non-accidental does not mean that we were beating with the belt and we accidentally hit them in the face.
Mhm.
No, that's not what that means. That just came to me as you were reading. That just dropped. Oops! I accidentally gave him a black eye. That wasn't. I didn't mean to do that. No,
or
no.
draw blood.
Right.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Mhm. Yeah, I know,
I'm gonna
right?
try not to get on my soapbox tonight. Okay.
Oh, there are many signs of physical abuse. If you see any of the following signs, please advise someone or make the phone call, mandated or not. Um, it says 28.3 of adult reports being physically abused as a child. Oh, I bet you there's more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so physical abuse includes striking, kicking, burning, biting, hair pulling, choking, throwing, shoving, whipping, or any other action that injures a child. Even if the caregiver didn't mean to cause injury, when the child is injured, it is abuse. Physical discipline from a parent that does not injure or impair a child is not considered abuse. However, nonviolent alternatives are
Always.
always available, and highly recommended from the mental health department world.
Yeah.
Um, physical abuse can result in bruises, blisters, burns, cuts, scratches, internal injuries, brain damage on more ways than one, broken bones, sprains, dislocated joints. So you got these under 2-year-olds that are being killed, so vulnerable for that. emotional and psychological harm, lifelong injury, and death. Um, Signs of physical abuse in parent or caregivers can't or won't explain injury of a child, or explains it in a way that doesn't make any sense, like she or he walked into a door, displays aggression to child, or is overly anxious about a child's behavior, indicates child is not trustworthy or is a liar, is evil or a troublemaker. These are the parents of people who you would notice that would be possibly abusing a child. Delays and prevents medical care. Takes a child to different doctors and different hospitals. They never really have a primary care physician. Keeps the child from school, church, or clubs, and has a history of violence or abuse.
Mm-hmm. Another form is the psychological emotional that you talked about. That looks like berating, name calling, yelling, screaming, intimidating, threatening, ignoring, rejecting, isolating from other people, to name a few.
Mm-hmm.
To name a few. Mm-hmm.
And some of the behaviors that you can see in a child that is being abused is they are aggressive towards their peers, pets, and animals. They seem afraid of the parents and other adults. They're fearful, withdrawn, depression or anxiety. They wear a lot of yeah, that's a sign for anybody that's abused. They wear long sleeve clothing that are out when it's out of season.
Mm-hmm.
Violent themes or fantasies. One of the things, a child therapist, is play. Play is super important because
Yeah.
when you watch a child play, you see how they play, and that will definitely give you the telltale signs of what their life is like. Um,
Absolutely.
and so the child, of course, you report injuries. Children acting out, regressive behaviors like still peeing in their pants and things like that. And then self-destructive behaviors and self-destructive attitudes. So a lot of your, not all of them, but if oppositional defiance disorder would cause me as a therapist to go in and look at the child and parent connection and what the discipline would be like in the home, because
Right.
those type of behaviors are sometimes those are cries for help.
Right. Yes. Absolutely. And notice what the criteria is for the physical. The striking, the shaking, the biting, it doesn't have to be, because some people are really smart. So just because you don't leave a bruise does not mean you're not being abusive.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean you're not being abusive. It just means you're being smart about it so that it's not reported.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sexual abuse.
Yeah.
That's a
So
huge one. Go ahead.
20%, 20 so anyway, sexual abuse occurs when an adult uses a child for sexual purposes or involves a child in sexual acts. It also includes when a child who is older or more powerful uses another child for sexual gratification and excitement. 20.7% of adults report being sexually abused as a child. I bet
Yeah.
the number is probably higher, but it says 20%.
But that's what we know, and that's what was reported.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have to leave room for what's not reported.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have to leave room for what's
There's
not reported.
so much of
Yeah.
this sexual abuse these days. I don't know if it's new or not, but it is a thing. And we got peers on, you got children on children, like 13-year-olds on their 7-year-olds,
Mm-hmm.
because we have blended families and step families and things like that going on. There, I have witnessed, those type of exchanges happening in the household.
Yeah.
Um, it's very interesting and sad at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. So when we think about children and their behavior, we need to be really careful to investigate where the behavior is coming from.
Mhm.
I don't believe that there is a child that was born evil. I don't. You know, if somebody else got proof that that's the case, then I don't. And so if a child starts acting differently, you should recognize that right away. Part of the problem when children are being sexually abused or abused by someone else or what have you, that whole what goes on in this house stays in this house, and not going out to tell people about our business because of shame and judgment or whatever the case is going on, is what keeps it perpetuated.
Yes. Yes. Some of the signs of a child that has been sexually abused is that difficulty sitting, walking, bowel problems, torn or stained bloody underwear, bleeding, bruising, pain, swelling, itching in the genital area, frequent urinary tract infections or yeast infections, any sexually transmitted diseases or related symptoms. And this stuff can happen, especially the frequency of urination can even come from someone being fondled, because it just sends the nervous system is overreacting as well. So it doesn't have to be like this penetration.
Right.
That's one sign as well that that there's some type of sexual confusion to the brain. So a behavior is that a child doesn't want to change their clothes in front of you, to become very withdrawn and depressed and anxious. Eating disorders definitely are manifested from sexual abuse, body dysmorphics or preoccupation with the body, aggression and delinquency, poor peer relationships, poor self-image, poor self-care, a lack of confidence, sudden absenteeism and decline in school performance. That's one of the big ones too. Substance abuse and running away, recklessness, suicide attempts, sleep disturbances, fear of bedtime or nightmares. Bedwetting is a good sign too. Sexual acting out, excessive masturbation, unusual or repetitive soothing behavior, like where some of the kids have their OCD behaviors, hand washing, cleaning, just, pacing or rocking, sexual behavior or knowledge that is advanced or unusual. And then of course they report sexual abuse.
Right. Another form of abuse is neglect. So failure to provide basic needs, food, clothing, shelter, time, affection. There's different types of neglect that is part of child abuse. So physical neglect is failure to provide food, clothing, shelter, supervision, or protection. Emotional neglect is failure to provide affection or love. Okay. Medical neglect, failure to provide appropriate or needed care or treatment. And then another one, educational neglect, failure to enroll a child in school, or ensure their attendance, or at least homeschool. So those are some other forms that we might not necessarily think of, because we look for like whatever the worst case scenario is, and that's abuse. And if it's not the worst case scenario, then it's okay. So one of the things I want to talk about is why people don't report. Now, not people who are victims of, survivors of, but other people that know this happening. And they just kind of don't say anything. I guess it'll go away if they don't say anything. So that's one of the things. And I think in my experiences, being taught to mind our own business. If the perpetrator is somebody close, you don't want them, the person might not want them angry with them. But there are people, so these children, sometimes children are not being abused and nobody knows about it. Being abused and people know about it. And that's whether it's in the family, whether it's a neighbor, or even in the school, where there are administrators who believe in a strong hand discipline may not report it. They should. They're mandated reporters, but that's a thing. That's a thing where they don't report it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So in my experience, it's just like, it's not my business. And let me look the other way. Yeah.
Yeah. From like authorities, or from when you say who?
Neighbors, family,
Neighbors.
friends.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's where it's frequent. Yes, people
That
who
knows that
family
it's
members, friends. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
if it's an administrator, if it's a troublesome, if you will, child, and the school are at their wits' end, rather than being part of the solution, they become part of the problem by looking the other way. Well, that's what he need, because he's causing us all this havoc, instead of somebody trying to figure out where this is coming from.
Yes. Why is this person behaving this way?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, the ones, kind of look away, and is neighbors, friends, church members.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Unfortunately, because I think, misconstrue the scripture, spare the rod, spoil the child. And so that's the basis in which you can discipline a child any way you want.
Because they're property, like a slave.
And unfortunately, at some point, we as women were property, children were property. We were freed of being property a lot sooner than children were.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so they, people pick and choose the scriptures and what they want to use them for, or just misunderstand what they mean.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
just misunderstand what they mean. And so children are subject to abuse and get no assistance.
And
So
I think that a good rule of thumb is that children all rise to the level of our expectation.
absolutely.
So if you have to abuse or strike a child, yeah, be mindful of what the intention is for that action. Like, be mindful of, what is my intention? Am I angry? Because now that's abuse. Anytime you discipline a child out of anger, it is not discipline. It's a beat up. It's a beat down.
It's a bully.
Anytime you discipline a child out of anger, it is not discipline.
Right. So one of the things that I found in my research on child abuse, this was very interesting and a great way to put it. Child abuse is the breakdown of impulse control in the adult.
I love that.
The adult does not have impulse control. What does that mean? I'm tired, because I just, and this can be somebody that's perfect, like a great parent, right? I'm tired because I've worked all day. The bosses have beat me up. I got yet another call about you didn't do homework, whatever the case may be, or whatever's happening. Get home, you're in the sibling fight, whatever. And immediately I'm going to rectify this situation. First of all, I'm being impulsive because I'm tired. No excuse, it just is. I'm tired, so I'm being impulsive. I don't give myself time enough to stop.
Take a breath.
Take a breath. And to really figure out what the purpose is. It is so very easy to strike a child. It takes a lot more effort to step back and say, how do I handle this situation?
And we've been trained, like, I mean, it's a generational experience. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
Instead of saying, okay, I've worked hard all day.
Not today. I can't even do this.
Right. Take some time. Take a step back.
They're gonna be there. The problem's gonna be there.
The problem's gonna be there. Hey, Mom. Hey, Christine. They're both on.
Oh, hello.
So taking some time. But I think too, what happens is that I know this because I've had this experience with a parent, that if I step away and I'm no longer angry, I'm not going to give you the butt whooping that you deserve. I had a parent to say, I said, well, maybe you should like calm down, take a second, and then go, figure out the discipline, whatever I said to her. But what I remember very distinctively, she said to me, I said, so you shouldn't be putting your hands on him when you're angry. She said, well, if I don't hit him when I'm angry, when do I hit him? I said, think about that. Think about that. Because what you just said to me was, when I'm not angry, I don't want to put my hands on him.
Right.
That's what you just said.
Yes.
She wasn't angry or rebut that at all. It was like, wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's good. Mm-hmm. That's good.
It's hard because he was having he was having anger issues. He was going
what?
to school.
You don't say. Your child is having anger issues because you beat them when you're angry?
When things didn't go his way or whatever, he started a fight. When he couldn't get people to do what he wanted, he would hit.
Oh, wow.
Right. And she,
wow. I'm grateful for having that aha.
And I worked with that child until he was a preteen, because he was a young child at first. And then I referred him over to an African-American male who really, number one, that was kind of missing out of his life. And he liked this person, and this person worked really well with African-American boys.
Oh, good. Yeah. That was a good aha, though. And kudos to you, Mom, if you're watching. No disrespect, all respect, because when we know better, we do better. And the fact that you were able to catch that and grab a hold of it, whatever you did with it, that's on you. But the fact that you were like, oh, well, if I'm not angry, then what's the point of hitting him? Yeah, because that's the same little boy that you was going to hit when you were angry is the same one you're not going to hit when you're not angry. Think about that. Right. There's a book by Michael Singer. I don't have it up here. Called the what's the name of that book? The Surrender something. Michael Singer, Surrender. I'll look it up. But one of the things that he talks about, you heard me tell this story a million times. But the parent who is in the kitchen in the morning, and the little Johnny spills the milk, and he spilled the milk, and you call him names and clumsy, and then that same little Johnny goes outside the afternoon, gets hit by a car. The friend runs to the door. Miss McKay, Johnny just got hit by a car. Oh, you mean the same Johnny I just cussed out this morning for spilling the milk?
Right.
Is that how you respond? No. You run out there, grab your baby up. Somebody call an ambulance. Hey, please, my baby, don't let him die. Don't let nothing happen to him. So we get to decide which one we're going to be. We're going to be the mama who's going ballistic in the kitchen over spilt milk.
Right.
Or we're going to be, who is little Johnny? Which little Johnny? And so then we get these split-minded children.
Yes.
with cognitive dissonance going on because I was just pitiful and worthless and good for nothing this morning over a $4 bottle of milk.
Right.
And now I'm in the street fighting for my life, and you love me to death.
Mm-hmm.
We do have to make a decision, because that's abuse on so many levels, and we have to get clear in our hearts who we want to show up as, so we can teach our kids who they are.
We get to control our impulses. Guess what? When children act on impulse and it's negative and the behavior is negative, we give them a diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
Disruptive mood, dysregulation, disorder, poor impulse control. Like, we give them a diagnosis. When the real diagnosis is, I'm suffering trauma every day.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be clear.
With a parent without emotional intelligence.
Yes. That doesn't mean you're stupid.
No.
It means yeah. Let's explain what emotional intelligence is. Just you're not you're not aware. You're not emotionally aware
that your behavior is being mirrored by little Johnny. Who you are is little Johnny. Who little Johnny is you. It's like, oh, he just threw that bottle down. Like, where you see that at?
And then we're in denial. I don't talk
to everybody the benefit of that guy.
I don't talk to him like that. I'm not the only one that talks to him like that, or whatever. It's like you at home. And let's be clear, you're not a horrible person.
We do what we do.
Do what we learn.
We do what we learn. That's why the emotional awareness is so important.
Yes.
The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer.
That one. Yes.
That book. Because it talks about us as a human, the human being becoming clear about our soul selves. Like, who am I? And first of all, if I'm made in the image and likeness of God, what?
Yes.
Just I'm made in the image and likeness of God, period. Now then live that out. But when we're not solid in our soul cells and in our heart cells, and we're divided and we're split, and 1 minute you're worthless, and then the next minute you mean the world to me.
Right.
That's not okay.
And who's the name of that author again, Steph?
Michael Singer. They call him Mickey Singer, but it's Michael Singer. It's The Untethered Soul. Amazing book. Amazing book. I've read it like 4 times. I'm sorry I couldn't remember The Untethered Soul. I just knew it was something. Oh, he has a book about surrendering too. The book on Surrender Experience is another book that he has that he wrote after the other one.
Okay, well,
but that example stuck with me because I was a mom like that. You know, I was raised by a mom like that. My mother loved me to death, but you couldn't tell when she was upset. And it's the upsetness that impacted my life. Wasn't the good times.
Yes.
It wasn't the good times that influenced me.
What you know. Then you repeat what you know. And we say all day long when something didn't work or was traumatic or whatever, I'm never going to do that. Newsflash. You are going to do that unless you consciously are aware and do the work to heal, not to do that.
To heal it. Yeah. Yeah. And I believe our kids are here to help us do our healing work from childhood.
Absolutely.
They are here. That's why they should be cherished and appreciated. But we sometimes don't get that till we become grandparents. And then we realize, oh yeah, I need to do some work right there. But if we can help anybody to not have to skip and just be amazingly attuned to your children now, and be aware that they are little souls and humans that you know nothing about.
Yes. There's no book.
You know nothing
about is book. There are no individual books on individual people.
No, we know nothing about it. And so to be presumptuous, like I raised your sister, I know how to raise you. You don't, because my sister is not me. My brother is me. And that's something that our community has to really get a handle on, that all people are not the same. All our kids aren't the same. We can't treat them the same. We can't love them the same. Love needs to be there, but everybody needs something different. Every child needs something, a different requirement. You know, one time, so you may have one child that's easy peasy. Oh my goodness, just compliant. And then you have one that come out the womb crying for everything, needed now, wanted now.
I think I got one of each.
I'm telling my business right now.
I think I got one of each.
I had two. And Stefan they say he was a crier. He didn't bother me. He had just this easy going. I was able to go to school, work a job. He was just kind of like, but my second one, he wasn't trying to have it. Stefan was demanding when it comes to eat, but that second one, all the way through, he'll be 30 years old this year. And He's still like, yeah, no, I want this now. This is my opinion. That's what I think about it. Da, 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 da. And, so yeah, each of them are different. But if I tried to raise them the same, I would have been really, and I had very little, listen, what I'm about here, like I'm so authoritative. I have very little awareness, but for what the little bit of awareness that I did have, I'm so grateful for, because I see so much difference in they were different people. They were 6 years apart. So I was able to have that advantage to do different things with them. But, they were just very different. And and these people, that we don't know them when we give birth to them, and we make the assumption that we do, and we don't know.
And I've heard this. I heard this comment even today from a young adult or older teenager, where the parents like, I know you better than you know yourself, and the young adult, she's young adult, said she doesn't know me. She knows me, but she does not know me. But we think because we gave birth, we just gonna know this person until from here to eternity. Life happens. We send them to school. They're outside of our homes. We're not watching them time. A lot of things go on to support their growth, hinder their growth, and
influence it.
We know who we sent to school at 5.
Right. Remember having the hair braided and come home and your braids is out. Your mom is like, that ain't how I sent you to school. Your hair all down and loose.
Right.
Because they're individuals. And
they're individuals. They're individuals. So we know who we sent to school at 5, but then other people will get to start writing on their piece of paper and influencing who they are. And then they have their own wheel that starts to show up, and that shows up even younger.
Right. Yeah. If you allow it. Because what I was going to say is that parents make the assumption that they know their children, because they assume, I know what I told you to do. I know what I told you to feel. I know what I told you to think. I know what I told you to behave. You know how to do this. You know how to, I've told you to say please and thank you. I've told you to say you're sorry when you're really not. I've taught you that. So you should know what to do.
And some of us have endured criticism for not doing that part.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just an intuition that I was never going to make you say, I'm not making you lie. Are you sorry for doing that? No. Okay. Well, it was wrong.
Right.
Was for it, but I'm not going to make you say you're sorry for it can you imagine the conflict that's going on in a little human being?
Do it all the time.
Everything in them says one thing, but the outer world, starting with the parents, says another. You got to figure out which one of these you're supposed to be doing.
And so that's where the abuse comes in, is that we don't take the time. First of all, we give you permission to understand that each child is different, and permission to take the time to explore and learn who your little person is. But abuse happens when we don't take the time to learn who this individual is, and we want this individual to do some type of narcissistic mind reading. They're supposed to know, but I've seen moms with 18-month-olds. Like, what you crying for? 18 months, been on the planet for 18 months.
Let that sink in. Been on the planet for 18 months.
What are you doing? What did I say? Da, 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 da. Pat, 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 pat. 18 months.
Oh, here's one for you. You better stop playing with me. Now, this discipline thing is not about the child. It is all about you.
Yeah.
It's all about you.
Yeah.
And there are some people who are abusive for the sake of being abusive.
Okay? Yes.
But there are so many people who just don't know that that's
they
just don't know that's what
don't know. Most people they just don't know. They don't understand the impact that it is having on little Johnny. And when they go to school, or when they become shy and reserved, every time you yell at a child, you alter their personality. every time. So if you had a fun-loving comedian, superstar, genius, pilot, astronaut, every time you raise your voice to whatever is uncomfortable for that human, that little human, that soul, every single time you alter the personality. So, I'll take you on my journey. When I had that information and I sat back and looked at my children, especially the first one, because the first one is always the guinea pig. And I think about the experience that I had with them. I'm thinking, dang, who could he have been? Who could he be? What did I change? Because I didn't have patience. I didn't know. I wasn't aware. I was a young mom, 19, 20 years old, like in school, in college. Yeah. And so what part of my anxiousness, what part of my impatience altered the trajectory of his future?
Yes.
What pop on the hand or what? I'm thirsty. Get your butt in the bed. It's bedtime. You know how it goes.
Right.
What part of that was like, well, I better not ask for what I want. That's not safe.
And nobody's saying you can't say no.
Right. But you could just say no.
Right.
No. Go to bed. That's it.
And
that
girl,
make them feel like a bum.
Get your butt in the bed. Listen, get your butt in the bed is being nice. Because that ain't what we said. In the bed. And don't ask for nothing else. Okay. All that is
but you come out that room, that boy could be scared or something. It could have been a monster under his bed. I have no idea what his story is, and I don't recall ever asking.
Right. Yes.
I don't recall ever asking. And it's so simple. Our babies are so fragile. They're strong, tenacious. They deal with us. They survive. But all I can say is you just slow down and be patient and understand if you don't get nothing else from this live tonight, understand you do not know the person you're giving birth to. And it would behoove you to be intentional about getting to know the person that God granted you the ability to influence.
Yes, I was just thinking as you were saying that, how many of us take the time out to ask God, what do you want? How do you want me to lead this child? And if you do, actually follow through with that. Because we all in love with the Lord. It is a miracle when you have a child. It's like tears and, oh my God, this is wonderful. Lord, please help me do this. How many of us, though, stick with that when it's really time to get in the nitty gritty and teach our children and train? That's not teaching and training them anything. We say do this and then we go do what we ask them not to.
Because teaching and training is an illusion. The reality is that we are here to learn, not to teach our children. We are here to learn. They are the teachers. We are the students. And the moment we change that paradigm, oh, what a world we will have.
Yes.
Because that is the
role of guiding.
We
not never, because not everybody never.
That's
How
right.
many of us include the man that wrote the guide?
Well, my little story I tell, I don't remember who I got this from, about God, please let him be saved. Let him have 10 fingers, 10 toes. Just let him be healthy, have a whole heart, and then give birth to him and y'all in your arms and everybody, oh my goodness, he's here. Loud mouth. I was just speaking about my grandson, how amazing that experience was watching him come into this planet. And then we just look up and say, okay, thank you, God. He's saved. You got 10 fingers, 10 toes. We'll take it from here.
Right.
We got this.
Right.
Hush. You be quiet. We got this, God. We'll take it from here. I got this. So that's what we do. Yes. We do it over and over and over and over again. We do it, and this is not about anything else but child abuse, but we do it on so many occasions, on all the parts of our lives, from jobs to careers to choices. We ask, we get it, and then we say, okay, I'll take it from here. But definitely we do it with our children. We do it with our babies.
Yeah. Speaking of words, I posted something on Facebook. It said, what messages are you depositing into your children? The mind of a child is fragile. Their emotions touch their future. Your words shape their destiny. And I don't know if you can see this picture.
Mm.
Can you see that picture?
I can.
See, can you see how horrible that looks?
Yes.
All that is being spewed into that child.
Mm-hmm.
Poor impulse control.
Mm-hmm.
Poor impulse control.
And you can't, words are like, when I gave a Bible lesson, I'm so blessed. My kids don't throw stuff back up in my face. Because I remember giving them a Bible lesson about the toothpaste and how you squeeze the toothpaste. And then they each had a spoon and they were challenged to put the toothpaste back into the tube. And the Bible lesson was on our words.
Yes.
And we can't put them back into the tube.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think about, wow, I wonder how many words that I speak over my kids that may not have been patient,
right,
patient, long suffering, that was very, come on, what are you doing? I didn't get time,
right.
But
right.
And not being mindful that this little person could be having something else going on. They're a person. Well, in our house, they'll have a right to talk back and be like, would you please wait? I'm having a hard morning. I'm not having a good time putting my shoes on. This is hard for me. Can you just chill
say it if you want to? Right? So understand that we are coming from a place of profession. Yeah. But we are coming from a place of experience.
With contrite hearts, like we understand.
Yes. Now we ain't leave no bruises and all that.
No. Actually, we got talked about by our families because we use talk therapy.
Right. Right. But we did leave some lasting impressions that we had to go back and shamefully admit.
Yes.
We are admitting had to go and apologize for.
Yes, please do. It's such
oh my gosh. Because let me tell you the effects of abuse. The effects of child abuse. They're 9 times more likely to become involved in criminal activity. Mm-hmm. They're twice as more likely to experience employment problems, financial problems, and just absenteeism. Mm-hmm. 2 of every 3rd person are in treatment for drug abuse, and report abuse or neglect as children. Mm-hmm. So when this is not just I grow up and now. Well, those are the ones I just wrote down because they stood out.
And there is the high probability. I forgot. Do I got the statistic right here? I pulled out a whole research sheet. Domestic violence.
Yes. I didn't even need that to be on the sheet to know that. Yes.
Domestic violence. I wanted to know that. I wanted to emphasize.
And remember, we said last time domestic violence was against your romantic partner or anybody in that house. So child abuse is domestic violence.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is that people who have been in abuse, children who have been in abuse, the percentage is almost like in the 70 percentile or whatever that will be in relationships of domestic violence, dating violence, or violence, because violence is what they know. And so they duplicate their household environments.
And listen, you can be in a psychologically abused home and then end up in a physical abusive relationship, or vice versa. You can be in a physically abusive home and end up, and let me just say this too, because I believe this to be true. And then because the person's not hitting you, you think you're not in an abusive relationship.
Right.
But you are. And
some of the things that
don't respect you, they're yelling at you, they put you down, and the children. And so,
I tell you that a child or a friend, if you got a daughter or a son that's in a connection like that, the question that you ask, my sister T used to ask this to her son, or she used to just say, Your issue is with me, not with her.
Yes.
Because it's the truth. So if you find a child that is in a relationship that is abusive physically, emotionally, sexually, the onus is not on you jumping all over the abuser. The onus is you grabbing little Johnny, going home and saying, you know what, we need to do a do-over. Because I gave you some information. I created a vibration inside of you that allowed you to attract this into your space and render it normal.
Yes. So listen, I'm going to play the devil, the devil's advocate, if you will. Okay, then what do I do? If I don't beat his butt, he's not going to act right. So what do I do?
Well, what does love look like in your world?
And that's important, because a lot of times people are abusing children, partners, and anyone else, because that's what was shown to them. And that's what love looks like to them.
If that's your love life, if that's what love looks like to you and you're okay with that, I don't think that anyone has to tell you what to do. I don't think that, because first of all, unfortunately, I'm at an advantage because I spent almost 10 years working in a domestic violence shelter where ain't nobody hitting nobody or you going to be homeless.
Well, when I say, what do I do? I mean, as this parent, my skill set says, I'll pop you one. So what else do I like? If that's not it, because that, I had to teach that, because that's the same parent that I talked about before. The question, well, what do I do if I don't whoop him, if I don't beat him? Well, then what do I do?
Model calm, gentle, intentional behavior to your child. Model behavior that says that you matter, that you are someone, that you are someone. When you model that behavior, the behavior changes. When in the beginning, when you withdraw corporal punishment, a child is going to act as crazy as they want. They're going to wow out. They're going to jump on sofas. And I've seen them do some stuff in an environment where they know they won't be spanked. But that gives you an opportunity to calm it down and say, how do I bring this child into a place where they know that they can trust me? Because they don't trust after abuse. They don't trust after hitting. They don't trust because they are aware that the only reason you're doing this is because you can't do anything else. So you have to be calm. You have to let that run its course, and you got to learn you. When you see your child acting out, own your stuff. They're either behaving like you or some other grown up in that house. That's all what else do they know?
Yes. And
so you have to go ahead.
And get the assistance to learn what to do.
Because everybody's individual. I can't give you a blanket.
No, but you can get some assistance where you're going to learn certain techniques, and you get to choose what's going to work for you and your family.
For you and your family. Because some people be like, I tried timeout, it didn't help. Timeout doesn't help some people, some children, especially if timeout works when you started off in the beginning in a non-threatening environment where it's not chaos and drama and craziness. When you do timeout when they're little and you shut everything down and the world becomes their world, like they're in timeout for a 18-month-old, whatever that is, then you can sit in there for 18 seconds with them and telling them why you're sitting here. And let me explain to you why. Tell me why you're sitting here. Have the conversation with little Johnny over and over again. Then they get up. But when you sit them in the chair and you walk away, you create trauma to the brain, because now I have been rejected. I've been made wrong and you're rejected.
Timeout doesn't come without a SWAT. I'm swatting you, I'm slamming you in timeout, and I'm walking away.
So are you calm? The nonviolent piece is like a whole new do-over, and you got to give the child, a little grace to adjust to it too, because you know how there's children who you'll say, sit down. I said, sit down, be still here. Okay. From the South, I'm talking about sit here. But anyway, just like, sit down here and be still here. Okay. And then they don't do it. They just milling around. What did I say? And now everybody's sitting down and quiet. Well, you've taught them that they don't have to obey until the vibration gets, well, that's a low vibration, until the vibration gets so low that they're fearful of a physical altercation.
Right.
So when you're redoing that method of, corporal punishment to train a child like an animal, when you get to the point where you're not willing to do that anymore, it's going to take a lot of calming down. We have to know what it is you did before, and
it's going to take patience with yourself.
It's going to be all about parents.
Yes, because you have not done this before,
or and it's going to model.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so you don't get instant gratification either.
Again, it's impulse control, and your first impulse is to and you got to be like, okay, that is not what I'm doing. I'm not doing that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And when you learn that you've done something that was not advantageous for the child, don't be afraid to apologize.
Yes, they're human. They really are.
You're not perfect. If you were perfect, you would be in the cemetery.
Yes.
We're not living to make any more mistakes.
Yes.
We do what we know.
We're in this all together. I don't know what I'm doing, and neither do they.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you stop having a control battle, power struggle.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I understand. Well, you still have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you need to slap him because what is he? Oh, you just need
you let them talk
your mind.
Right.
Oh, you need to. The end result is, and I think that I feel too that there's stages, because that 3-year-old who is like, I don't want to do it, is not necessarily going to be that 13-year-old like, you don't tell me what. That it doesn't work like that.
Work like that. But that's the information that we've been
either. You teach them how not to feel and not to share emotions.
Not to share emotions.
And be in unproductive relationships.
Mm-hmm. Or have their face in video games so they don't have to connect. They're just simply detached. They're very detached because a long time ago, they were learned that it is not safe to be in my feelings. It's not safe for me to tell the truth. It's not safe for me to be honest, to be around, to make a mistake, or get it wrong. And so, this is a big subject because I didn't even get it. I had gotten this thing for the attachment styles, which what abuse does to the adults. The work that we work on when we working with the grown-ups is to undo that stuff, because of corporal punishment or child abuse and child neglect and all of that, it creates attachment disorders that are so rampant. You're insecure, your avoidance and all of that. And then people want to go around yelling at, oh, he's bipolar, she's bipolar, oh, he's a narcissist, he's a narcissist. Well, stop the bus, take the labels off, and understand that that person was abused as a child. Every last one.
Yep.
Every last one. Every last one. So when you want to yell somebody got bipolar, then you need to be like, dang, I wonder what kind of abuse that person just lived in. What kind of neglect that person experienced. What kind of trauma that person experienced as a child that they are behaving or protecting themselves in the manner in which they're doing it.
Right. Rosalind. Hi, Rosalind. Rosalind says sometimes it takes talking to the child, explain to the child, and let them know their behavior is unexpected and what they've done is or doing is not nice, and it makes you upset when they act that way.
That's perfect. Always tell them how it makes you feel, how your behavior is impacting me. That is so that's powerful with adults. I have to teach that in marriage counseling.
Yes.
Your behavior makes me feel sad. I am super disappointed. I feel so disappointed when I see you throwing food on the floor. Now our floor is dirty. What are we gonna do? Like, how do we do this now? The floor is dirty.
Right.
I'm so sad. I'm disappointed. Oh my, I don't even know what I'm dramatic. I don't even know what I'm gonna do with all of this. What am I doing? That's why my grandkids are so dramatic. I guess my kids are too. It's like, what are we going? Oh my gosh. And they're like,
Nana, sorry. And I didn't say, you need to say you're sorry.
Right. What is wrong with you?
Right. Correct.
Please make a promise, a commitment, and send us something. Inbox us. Anybody that makes a commitment that they will never, ever say to their child or any child again in life, what is wrong with you? That is a ridiculous question because the answer is evident. Nothing. They are made in the image and likeness of God. So there's your answer. You don't ever have to ask your child that again because it is a ridiculous question and it does so much harm.
And it's not what you're asking. You're asking, why did you do that? That's what you really want to know. Well, what made you do that? Then they can go on, if it's safe, to explain why I did that.
But what is wrong with you is no.
Because if it's not safe, they'll say, I don't know.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. This has been absolutely wonderful.
Yes.
So many topics we talk about, like this topic, we could just go on and on and on. But I am so glad that we got a chance to share in this. The child abuse hotline is flashing across the bottom of the screen, 1-800-25-ABUSE, 1-800-252-2873. Get involved. These children belong to all of us.
Yes, say that again.
These children belong to all of us. So that child that you're turning your head away from, that you know are being abused and something, the behavior toward them is not right, could be the person that is going to be your nurse in the nursing home, in the hospital, or whatever awesome thing they do.
The intention was that they came here to do and to create. It's like gardening. If we don't nurture it and fertilize it, and look at it, even though people look at a dandelion as a weed, well, it's not. It's definitely a very good. You can use it for something. It's being used for something to clean our bodies. So nothing is gone away. It's not a child that
the dog. The dog will eat the dandelions right away.
Exactly. No child is brought here by accident. They all have a divine purpose and a divine right to be here and a divine right to experience God's love through me, through us adults that show up in their lives as the know-it-alls. So if we gonna know it all, then know it all and be kind and loving and compassionate to these humans that are here sharing this journey with us, counting on us to leave them whole.
Yes.
Not broken into a million little pieces that they got to try to figure out how to pull themselves back together again in order to do life on this planet.
Yeah. And be clear that there are people who are terribly broken, who are not trying to change anything, that are abusing children intentionally on purpose. We need to
please.
Sit aside.
Just report, and nothing gonna happen. If it's if nothing's found, they close the case and life goes on. You have nothing to lose or gain by somebody reporting or not reporting. And in my humble opinion, the reports that go reported unfounded, I think that the parents learn some things about themselves and they learn other opportunities on how to be an effective parent without creating a child full of neurotic little human.
Right.
They learn to like, oh, let me bring this in because little Johnny went to school and whatever happened. And so it just report it.
And understand that the business of the state is not to take them away.
No,
especially if there's no reports before of it. They want to, it's parenting classes,
reconciliation,
all kinds of things that work in the favor of the family all together is, so know that that 9 times out of 10, they're coming in, they're going to assess the situation. They're going to talk to each child and the parent. And if that parent needs intervention, that's what will happen. The goal, though, is to keep them together. Is the goal.
Always the goal. That's the goal. 2 resources, and I'll get the information, Michelle. You can post it, and I'll mention it again next week. Dr. Dan Siegel on the Whole Brain Child. Amazing book. Give it out for all baby showers. Whole Brain Child by Dr. Dan Siegel, and then Love and Logic for Parenting. Love and Logic for Parenting. And I don't remember the names of the people that do the Love and Logic, but Love and Logic is a phenomenal group. If you can find one, a online course or whatever, it's a phenomenal course. I think I taught it was 10-week course, Learning with Love and Logic. It is the best thing ever. It will tell you how to not hit little Johnny, because it'll tell you that you only need 3 words. That's interesting. Okay, great. All right. Wow. That's it. And they'll figure the rest out, because they are like that. They remain in the image. They got it. So Love and Logic, I'll get the author and give it to you. But those are 2. I feel like every parent who wants to change from the spanking aspect of life, definitely Love and Logic. And then to understand how the brain and a child develops in crises and how they deal with crises is Dr. Dan Siegel, The Whole Brain Child. Phenomenal. Everybody should. And it has a little chart. Yeah, from 0 to 12th grade. It has a little chart in the back of it. You can pull it out, and it gives you like the different stages and how to communicate with them, how much repetition, how much. It's an amazing resource. And I give them out at baby showers. So it's just a great book to have.
Time and our money on higher education. Well, and so we certainly should be educating ourselves on how to communicate with these little human beings.
This has been good. Thank you for
listening. And I will, Rosalind, thank you. Yes, it takes a village, and I will post this on the page. All 3, The Untethered Soul as well. I will post all of it on the page. Yes. Certainly. Thank you, Stephanie. I'm just writing this down. Yes. So this was amazing.
Yeah.
Help one person. We want to do that.
That's right. Our next president.
Yes. All right. Thank you. I am Michelle Wallace-Bird. And you guys know where you can find us, because you are return viewers. And then my lovely co-host, Stephanie McCain, family therapist. We are excited about sharing information with you.
Thank you all. Thanks, Michelle. Have an amazing rest of the week. Till next time.
Until next time.